Just kind of the year in review. It was a big year for us. We invested very heavily in capacity this year. That's really the lifeblood of being a semiconductor foundry, is that customers need to know there's more capacity coming, and that when they need to have more product to the market, that you have the ability to support that. We made those announcements really this year, starting with Dresden, which is called Fab 1. And we expanded it to become the first gigafab in Europe. And what a gigafab is when a fab has 80,000 wafers per month or more. This will be the first one in Europe, the largest one in Europe. We decided to construct a clean room expansion, which was quite a significant additional investment required to bring the output up. Expecting that new construction to come online this year. And there's really, the focus today in Dresden is threefold. First and foremost, it's on the 32 nanometer ramp in support of AMD, our largest customer. Then it's also bringing 40-45 nanometer technology online for new customers. We do 45 today for AMD microprocessors, but we're also bringing it online for other new customers as well, both on the bulk and SOI side. And then we have 28 nanometer technology, which is very heavily in development, which we'll have multiple customer engagements on, which you're going to really see come to fruition in customer designs later this year and the following year. So a lot of exciting things happening there, a lot of expansion, a lot of new hiring, and a site that is in the midst of a pretty massive transformation. And as we were talking earlier, we also decided to expand a project we had called Fab 8 and add an additional shell to the clean room, so we have the option to make it even bigger. And this project really came to fruition when we broke ground in 2009 in the summer. Represented about a $4.6 billion investment at that time. The expansion that we're looking to make, and it would represent another $2 billion if we saw it through to fulfillment. And the clean room will be pretty massive at close to 300,000 square feet. This is really a massive facility from a scale perspective, and one of the largest of its kind around the world. And it's actually the largest, I think, capital construction project underway right now in the U.S. It's definitely the largest in the history of the state of New York. So this is a pretty big deal for us, but also a pretty big deal for the U.S. semiconductor industry as a whole. 60,000 wafers per month when it becomes fully online. It will start output in 2012 and look to really ramp in 2013. And the focus on that will come online with what we call 28 nanometer technology, but it'll take a quick switch to 22 and 20, which is really where the most advanced node at that time, which will be available. And as I said, job creation is a big deal. Close to 1,500 direct jobs, 5,000 spin-off jobs, millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue and taxable benefits for the region. And something right now that there's already a tremendous amount of activity. To give you some perspective, I think there's 1,000 plus construction workers on the site every day. Those are all new jobs that were created because of this project. Even the cafeteria on the site for those construction workers is technically zoned as the largest restaurant in Malta. This is the scale that we're looking at. It's very different than any project that's been put in place there before. And the last piece is Abu Dhabi. Our investor, ATIC, one of their mandates is to diversify the economy of Abu Dhabi away from hydrocarbons and heavily focus in key vertical industries like semiconductor technology, aerospace, healthcare, and otherwise. So they're taking the first steps into putting an ecosystem in place there. This is a long-term vision. But what they're doing now is they're investing really heavily in education to make sure they have a workforce that can support working in the chip industry. So that's internships. That's what we call worker assignments, where you take engineers who are already working in other industries and retrain them in the semiconductor space. So very heavily informing education relationships here in the U.S. with the schools that churn out the best and the brightest. And the intention here is to eventually build a fab and have a supporting ecosystem over the next couple of years. So we'll have more later this year on the timing and some of the details around that, but it's part of the future and it's part of the mandate that our investor has to support the further development of the emirate. And we just had a pretty incredible event that our investor put on the end of last year, where really a who's who of the industry got together to see Abu Dhabi and really understand what the opportunities were there. So they definitely see this as the next opportunity for a great cluster. So long-term for GlobalFoundries, you'd have New York, Dresden, Singapore, and Abu Dhabi, and that would be kind of the four hubs around the world.